Hello everyone and welcome to episode 98 of the Inquisition. Slight change of guest tonight because the guest that we had was a trainee sex pest, so we binned them off and we've got a baldy man from Newcastle once again coming back on so he can rant about how the Necrons are being nuked and all the stuff that Warhammer does, because he's a good guy, old six-up slave. You might know him as Warhammer Podcast. How you doing, Ronan? Hope you're well, mate. There's Green Mank as always. How you doing, Mike? Thanks for joining us tonight. So it was a bit of a controversial day in the old Inquisition, but we did some research on our guest. It turns out he was a sex pest, bugging women for nudes and being toxic to females in general. So we can't have that, and we'll call it out wherever we see it. So that's it. So thanks very much for joining one. There's not really a set process to this. We just start ranting and asking ridiculous questions. You might not also know him as Jobber, who does the insurance videos. He might not be wearing his glasses and he might be slightly bolder. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
Thanks for stepping in at the last minute, man. We really do appreciate you. We do really appreciate you putting yourself out there to coming on such late notice. Thanks very much.
I love speaking to you guys. It's always good to see you. Well, it's always good to see you, and then Casey when he finally turns up.
Yeah, like, I think Casey still thinks we're doing it at 8:30, even though I told him 5 minutes ago that it's going to be.
It's all right. He doesn't want to speak to us. That's fair enough. Right. Bear with me. Just getting there. Don't know why I requested to join this before and set the camera up properly, but apologies for that.
Oh, don't worry about it. We love seeing your bare shelves. That shelf is getting barer and barer as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm selling minis for heroin.
Well, you've got the build for it. You could, you know what I mean? Like,
Britain's fattest heroin addict. That could be a Channel 5 show, couldn't it?
oh, I'm surprised Channel 5 haven't done something like that.
Oh, I thought I was going to see the bottom half of Casey for a second there. I was wondering where that was going. No.
Casey doesn't have a bottom half.
Is that not really 5 foot something, Doug?
Yeah, me and you are the same height.
Are we?
We are. We're both 5'8".
Justine Stainsby in the comments there. One crack for another. Yeah, you're exactly right.
I'll take that as a compliment. I'm 5'7", but I'll have 5'8" all day.
Yeah, that inch makes a difference. Just ask Mrs. Holmes.
How are we doing, Ted? We good?
She just says, "What inch do I have?" She knows that inch. She's seen it in its full glory last week when we were on holiday.
Holiday romance.
I would just like to apologise to a first-time viewer. Who was it? Ronan. This is what you get when you join our stupid podcast, Ronan.
Ronan's a lovely lad. He goes to my club. Hello, David. I think.
Oh, your club. Ooh.
Well, the club I go to, it's not my. I don't organise it. I couldn't find my house with both hands done. Never mind run a wargaming club. Another lad on here, Big Bear, who I met at Warhammer World last weekend. He's a commission painter. I'm going to get a quick plug in for him now. So if anyone wants any commission painting done, he's a very good lad. He's doing something for me.
Does he charge as much as C Studios charges for rats? £1,900?
He's actually rebranding as C Studios and sending James a cease and desist letter because he's trademarked it.
I think we should set up a chat called an Instagram page called CG's Studio.
They have a painting competition. I think it's called Iron Skull, and somebody literally created an Iron Skull painting competition Instagram account, and then commented under all of their posts saying, "See how you like it" or something like that. It's been very, very, very funny drama all week. I'm not going to lie. I don't normally like to get involved in all this nonsense, as you guys know, but for this one, I've been like, oh. So, you know.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Like, of all the words to pick, I know it's like this is obviously generating a lot of buzz today throughout the day and stuff, but
yeah,
for something that's such a for a niche community to have such a little thing that everyone's just loved the idea of, to then sort of sneak in under the radar and then trademark it is a bit cheeky, we would say, isn't it? It's a bit of a cheeky move.
Oh, hi.
I would just like to say though, it's been the social media influencers of Warhammer have really fucked up this year. Like, I just want to recap the story that I put up earlier on.
Yeah.
All the stories that have been put up have been nothing to do with Casey. He's been
I'm
too
good.
busy working, all me. So we had that Spanish twat try to charge people a kickstart fee for putting a bit of sponge on a stick. We then had Tabletop Tactics. Is it Tabletop Tactics? The stripper? Vanguard Tactics, the stripper, trying to charge people £600 to be a better player, a nicer player. We then had Rally Point Games faux pas, and then mass blocking myself and Casey, even though we didn't follow them. And then today, C Studios trying to fucking do shit with fucking Warboot. What's going to happen next is Duncan was going to say that his white is made from first seal or something. Do you know what I mean? He's like clubbing seals to death for the newest white in the market.
Our blood red is made with actual blood.
Yeah, blood for the blood god is actually made from baby seals.
Two firm clubs.
I set them up, and you've just knocked them out the park.
There'll be some madness before the end of the year, won't there? There's been the other thing is the other one he could do is just trademark the name Duncan, and then you're fucked.
That is true. That
would be hilarious to see. But
maybe we should trademark the Inquisition, the underscore Inquisition. Do you know what I mean?
We have to check that because I think the lawyers might already be on there, and I'm surprised they haven't sent us a cease and desist yet already. We'll probably get one.
I don't look at the emails on that email address. It's just full of people I've harassed for nudes and to get money off them. No, I'm not allowed to mention that. Alright, so we had tonight's guest on, and it turns out like tonight's guest, not Warhammer Pod / the Jobber / 6 Up Save, was pestering women for nudes and was quite mean to quite a lot of women within the community. We are not ones to stand by that, so we nipped it in the bud and told him to fuck off. Again, this is nothing to do with Case. This is all me that did this.
But it is the right thing to do at the end of the day, and we would like to thank you, Dad, for stepping in and filling the void and making sure that we had a show to go ahead, because it's always appreciated. And then it means that we don't have to do show 100 when I'm on holiday at the end of the month.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like we've got the big one coming up. We've got a nice little anniversary, and I would be in Gdansk for it, which there's a banter joke in there somewhere about Gdansk, but I can't figure it out. I
mean, either. You could see the little cogs trying to turn in my brain there, and there was nothing happening.
So let's just leave that one as well. We don't want a bit of extra drama.
About 30 minutes in, I'll think of one and I'll just blurt it out.
Do it. That's what we love.
So what's been the story with you, dude? What's been happening on the Necron side of life?
Necron's been pretty cool, actually. I mean, it's on the Necron side. I haven't actually made a lot of Necron videos, but there's not much to say at the moment. Like, I was waiting for the balance data slate came out, and because a lot of the people that like Necrons obviously want to know, how does that change things? And there basically was like 2 little changes. So I was like, it's not really enough to make a video about here. So I'm actually working at the moment on. Oh, here we go. Still got
no nipple for you.
Not yet. And there we go. Hey. I'm working on a little lore video, which is something a bit different for me, but I'm a massive fan of the book The Infinite and the Divine, which is obviously about Trazyn the Infinite and Orican the Divine. So I'm thinking about making a little lore video about Trazyn in particular, because I think he's an amazing character. So we'll see how that goes.
Are they still teasing that he's coming back at some point? Because there was that big will they, won't they, a little while ago, wasn't there? Like they updated some bits on the app, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, they on the app they changed. I didn't even know before this that this was on the app. So how much attention I pay. But on the app, it tells you what the base size for each model is. And
Mm.
obviously, he's on like a little 25 mil, I think, base because he's an old resin character. He's fine cast, never got a plastic model.
Yeah.
And they updated it to 40 mil, and we were all like, "Oh, that must mean the new character's around the corner." But he's not turned up yet, but he is coming, definitely coming.
Yeah, because
I think
he is one of the big draws of the faction, really, isn't he? And I think we've discussed this before when you came on, that this time around, codex-wise, they ditched so many characters out of
yeah,
where
they
we
did.
were at 8th and 9th, and it just feels like there's a void.
I think a little bit, and he's such a massive character in the literature and the lore that he has to come back. But also, I mean, Necron players are still eating pretty good. We've got the new Nightbringer announced. We've got another new model called the Geomancer, although we haven't got rules for him yet. He was in the new Kill Team Tomb World box, so he's meant to be getting 40k rules, but they haven't turned up yet. So nobody knows when they're coming. Soon, hopefully. But I'm not too worried because I haven't painted mine yet. In fact, I haven't even built him. He's still on the sprue.
Yeah.
I must say though, sorry Casey, that
Uh-huh.
kill team terrain is sweet as fuck. I
Right.
played, I played a game on it, and it's that well made, right? That me and my mate, he bought the entire set for himself. Spent 20 minutes looking for one of the breach points because we couldn't find it. It got to the phase where we were just poking bits of the terrain to it because we knew there was a breach point, but we couldn't find it.
That's good
So,
though, 'cause, like, when they showed the videos of it and it first being announced, like it, as obviously Mr. Necron, I remember seeing your stories. You're absolutely buzzing with it. It looked quality, and it's the sort of stuff that I think is a welcome addition. I know they got easy templates they can just sort of copy and change bits around, but it just gives something a bit of extra flavour, didn't it? It was just, yeah, it was needed.
I think if the rumours are true, it's number one in 3 kind of Necron themed kill team boxes. So Tomb World with the Geomancer is number one. The one that might or might not have the Nightbringer in it is number 3. So circling back to what you were saying before, my guess is, it's just a guess, but my guess is, or my hope is, that Trazin will be in number 2, because that would be amazing.
So I'm going to throw this question here because before it slips my mind, right? So we've been asking people the last few weeks
Mm.
who they would have as their ideal Primarch actor, Hollywood, past or present. Who would you have as your ideal casting for Trazin, be it live action or just the voice?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it would have to be in my head when I read his words on the page. He's definitely English. I'd have to have a think about that. It needs to
Did
be
you sort of
someone.
think maybe like Benedict Cumberbatch doing Smaug? He's got that sort of,
Oh yeah, he'd be perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he could. That's the first, when you sort of asked that, that's the first person that came to my mind, because like you get the silly videos popping up of like reels, and just I watched a mocap video of him doing Smaug and getting into it, and I think he'd be like that sort of thing would be quality.
Yeah, I think so. He's got that. Trazan's got a little kind of glint in his eye type thing. He's a bit of a cheeky chappy, and I think Cumberbatch could probably do that. Yeah, that's a really good shout. Thanks for digging us out of that one. I was going to struggle there.
But I think it's also like Andy Serkis could do a job.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit more of he brings a different sort of smarminess to a character, doesn't he? I think that'd be the best way of sort of wording it. But
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
even Stainsbury saying there, Spader, or ADHD saying, oh, what's his name? The guy who played Loki. I'm saying I can see his face.
Oh God. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know what you
If you
mean.
know in the
Yeah.
chat, tell us, because we're having brain farts.
He's
If
a good
anybody
shout
has
though.
any questions for any of us, including insurance questions, feel free to throw them in the chat.
Insurance questions. While we're waiting for someone to remind
Oh,
us
it's
of,
open. There we go.
there you go. Thank you, Stainsbury. Well done, mate.
Perfect.
And Sandy when he says Matthew Good. I don't think you've had since in the last couple of weeks, Dan. You've had a couple of milestones over on your YouTube, haven't you? There's been some nice results coming in, seeing that your numbers are going up, you're doing steady results, and it's all
Thank
going on
you.
that upward trajectory.
Yeah, I think we're just about to, or just have hit about 7,500 subscribers, which is really nice. Because I haven't really, like I said, I haven't been pumping out the content as religiously as I should have done. I've been doing quite a lot of shorts, like talking about little topics that have interested me more than doing like the longer form videos. But it has been nice, but it's not something that I am too concerned about. I was having some chats this weekend and talked to a couple of people, and they thought I was like doing this full time. I'm like, nowhere near full time. Like, if I did this full time, I'd be living in a tent. I can't make money doing this. I'm not good enough at it. Fundamentally, you've got to be like right, absolutely. You know what it's like. You've got to be absolutely on it, and that, you know, your production's got to be perfect and all that to make a living. So, but it's always nice to see it tick up like that for sure. But I'm not. I've fallen victim in the past to worrying about the numbers, and I think if you worry too much about the numbers, then you stop thinking about what you're doing, and you need to think about what you're doing, and then just the rest of it kind of comes, or it doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
And how do you... Sorry, Keith, on you go.
No, go on, Doug. You've got it there.
And now, I know, like, when we had you on the last time, it was like you're flying solo. How's it been flying solo since your divorce?
Since the divorce, yeah, I'm not an enormous fan of it. I'm going to be honest. I'm enjoying trying different things, and I appreciate people kind of sticking with us while I learn how to do those. Because the first time you do different new things, you're not very good at them, are you? Well, I'm not anyway. So that side of it, I've enjoyed, like learning new things and trying different topics and things like that. But I would like at some point to get back to just talking to somebody else next to me rather than just talking to the camera. That's not my favourite thing to do, and I don't think I'm very good at it.
I think you're good, man. I think you're
I
being
think
a
it's
bit
fun, yeah.
disingenuous to yourself. I think you've got the best synergy within the community.
But no, it is a difficult thing to do, isn't it? Like, I think me and Dunk are lucky in what we do, in that we can bounce off each other. The guests there as well. If it's just me
Yeah,
and Dunk chatting away, we're fine. But when you're soloing something, it's that different feel of, because you're essentially you're just talking to yourself,
yeah,
and that's the weird thing in it. It's basically like you're just looking in the mirror and thinking, why the fuck am I doing this? But it's just, it's something that you just learn to develop, to get used to. It's a weird skill to it's a weird muscle to flex, I think would be the best way to say it.
It is. I started going to the gym a few months ago, and as I'm sure you can tell because I'm so buff now. But I found out that there are muscles I didn't know I had, and I feel, and that's quite similar in that respect. Like, you've got to start from somewhere, you know, and you've got to put the reps in, and then you'll get better. So yeah, in that respect. But I'm enjoying really, really enjoying the hobby at the moment. I think the game's in a good place. The only thing I would like to do is have a bit more time to try stuff like Duncan's talked about Kill Team before. I'd love to try Kill Team. I just haven't got the bandwidth at the moment, but it looks like Kill Team is absolutely in a really good place at the moment. Like, it looks exciting to me.
I haven't played Kill Team for a while, but the last couple of games of it I played were really good.
I think the kill team now, like, because that Necron kill team set, you could do a narrative. Like, I was speaking to the gaming club that I'm part of here in Donegal. Shout out to Donegal Dice Slingers. Oh yeah. And we're doing a Call to Chaos trademark pending in November, 2,000 point, and I was saying, well, why don't we do a narrative game where we have like a bunch of 2,000 point battles, and then we just bring it down to like combat patrol, and then bring it down to kill team. And with that new kill team set, you could then take it underground, which would then nullify a lot of the snipers. I know in one of the kill team sets, the Necrons have death marks, but there's not that high ground if you're then going underground to try and. But I do like that. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I agree. I think it looks good. I think the actual minis like that they're creating for they're just killing it at the moment. Excuse the pun, but the kill teams that they've been churning out for a little while now have been like top draw. I think they're really good.
Yeah, they definitely have, and I think it's because it's that little bit. They're not doing it en masse. They're like little labours of love, almost a bit like some of the Warcry warbands and Underworld warbands are when they come out with those. Like, I absolutely love this Skaven Underworld stuff, I think it's quality. But then when you look at the basic clan rats, they're just like, nah. But also, like, where you're sort of saying that, they used to do, and Dan, you probably remember these as well. Someone in the chat will bring it up too. The old battle reports that they used to do in White Dwarf years ago. The one that always sticks in my mind is the Armageddon campaign, where it was one massive narrative game, and they had like a table that was 12 foot long, but then there was another battle on one side of the room, another battle on another side of the room, and whatever happened in these little battles affected the big battle on the table.
Yes.
And all of those little things interweaving, it makes for a fun day, I think, on those sorts of things when you've got teams of people. And we've obviously talked about it before that sometimes the competitive stuff does knock that fun stuff on its arse, but there's no reason saying you can't do it.
It's coming. I think the community as a whole is kind of moving back around in that direction a little bit. The competitive scene is bigger than it's ever been. Like up here, you know, in northeast England, we're not the most populous of areas. But I could, within like, I reckon 15 miles of my house, maybe 20 is at a push, but I could go to a competitive event every weekend if I wanted to. There is something happening, and it used to be like one every 2 or 3 months or something, but it's every weekend if you wanted to, you could go to something. And there has definitely been an explosion in that side, but equally I think there's a lot of people that are like, well, don't really want to play that way, we want to do more of the fun shit like you were saying. And rumors I'm hearing of, like, is that the design studio understands that, and I'm hoping anyway that 11th edition is going to be a bit more about casual Hammer, if you like.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But it's crazy that we're still almost in the middle of 10th and we're talking about 11th. In my opinion, I think that's insane.
So we've got a couple of questions in chat here. I don't want to ignore anybody's questions, so we did ask for questions. So I'm going to go back to somebody said, what do you think of the new Drukhari, the new Drukhari? And then somebody else asked about the old battle, the boarding actions terrain. What do you think about that?
I'll take that one first. Boarding actions, I love it, but I've just built a set and it nearly made me cry. It just seemed to go on forever. There's a lot of it. But I'm looking forward. I've got it built now. I'm looking forward to getting it painted and on the table. I was slightly disappointed that the Necron terrain wasn't quite compatible. Like, it would have been really cool if you could build a board where one side started off as like a space Hulk and then it kind of turned into a Tomb World or something. That would have been awesome. But yeah, I do like the board and actions terrain a lot. It was just a pain, or it was not a pain. It just seemed to take me an awful long time to build it. But people like, it's one of those areas. I know it's only plastic and stuff, but it's one of those areas where I don't think the value for money is as bad as sometimes we make out, or sometimes I make out. You know, we can complain about paying 40 quid for 5 little soldiers, but you pay 150 quid or 120 quid for one of those board and action boxes, and you get a lot in it. Same as the Tomb World box. It's actually not a bad value in my opinion.
It's like anything, though, isn't it? It's like, and I'll let you answer that question as well, Jesse. But it's like people complain about the price of football tickets, but you still don't watch the football, especially the Premier League games that you're maybe charging 60, 75 quid to go and watch. Yeah. Millionaires run about kicking a fucking leather ball and then roll about like fucking prima donnas. What's your take on the Drukhari and the boarding action terrain, Casey?
We didn't get Dan's take on the Drukhari, so let's do that first.
Drukhari wise, you know, that's like my second army. They're down there somewhere with the Harlequins. So I'm actually very excited. I'm picking up the Codex, I think, this weekend. If I've ordered it anyway. And also Lady Malice, the new Lady Malice mini is absolute fire. Like, they really did a great job of that. She's a really cool character in the lore because she was kind of like a second in command to Vect, who was the kind of like the King of Camorra, if you like, King of the Dark Eldar. And then they had a kind of falling out. She had to disappear, and she's been out of the lore for quite a long time. And we haven't had a mini for her for many editions. So it's great to get her in. Overall, in terms of the Codex, I'm looking forward to giving it a run. A couple of my mates got it early, and they're like, there's some really nice stuff in here. Like, There was only really a couple of ways to play Drukhari if you wanted them to not get shot off the table in a couple of turns. So, and the Codex is giving us a bit more of that richness back. And that's something else I think GW has actually got better at as the edition's gone on. Like if you look at some of the recent Codexes, there's usually not just one meta way to play. You've got options there, which is what everybody wants. We all want to play with our toys. In terms of the Drukhari, they put out like a Battle Force box, which I'm not buying that just to get the new Archon. And if you were new to Drukhari, it's a good box. But most Drukhari players have already got all of the stuff that's in it because we have one of the smallest ranges in the game. So you know, it's not like we've got 50 units to choose from like Necrons. We've got about 20. And 10 and like 5 of those were out of print. They were fine cast. So you've all got witches, you've all got Kabbalite warriors, you've all got incubi, you've all got the vehicles already. So unless you have only just started collecting or you want to start collecting, the boxes are not much cop. And the last thing I would say on that is as well is there is huge rumours that we're getting a range refresh in 11th edition. So if there is a suspicion, it wouldn't be the first time GW's done it, but there would be a suspicion from me that things like the combat patrol and that are a way for them to shove out, you know, what they've got left in the warehouse before those new minis are ready. So you could easily spend, say, 250 quid on Drukhari today on that Battle Force box and the combat patrol, and those minis might be, or a majority of those minis might be replaced in a couple of years.
It's funny you say that because I always think sometimes when you look at what's coming out in the Battle Force boxes and the Combat Patrol boxes that is the case. It is almost like sometimes they sit there and think, we've got 200 units of this that ain't shifted. What we're going to do with them? Shove them in a box. I don't want to be that cynical about it, but having worked in retail and seen that's how companies do operate, you know, fair play to them. It's their product; they can do what they want. I think my take on the terrain stuff, I'll agree with you, Dan. Like I'm at the moment, I'm trying to get me and a few guys I play with now around here. For your bingo card, more time. They want to try and get into it, and we're trying to think about boards and like getting terrain for it. And because that stuff's so old and out of print, it's like, well, what do? You look at some of the stuff Games Workshop's putting out for Old World and Warcry and stuff, and some of that stuff is more than easily usable. And then value for money, what you're paying for MDF kit sometimes is just as comparable. So, and 3D printing, obviously, some of it can be cheap, some of it's all over the place, which is annoying. But I think value for money wise, you're probably okay there. And I haven't seen the boarding actions terrain myself in the flesh properly, but I think it looked solid when it came out.
It's good.
Don't encourage Casey to start getting his pants about Mordheim, man.
I've just started watching Mini Wargaming. We've just started a Mordheim campaign, 4-way Mordheim campaign. I watched the first episode because that was free to view, and then the others are paywalled, obviously. You can't, that's fair enough. And I was like, God, it really made me want to start playing Mordheim again. I like Mordheim Necromunda. It's just difficult. You need to all go all in like at the same time, otherwise you can't really get it going, I don't think.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle if you don't get the people there to support it. I think the guys I play with at the moment, they're all big into Marvel Crisis Protocol, and they're trying to get me into that. And I've played some games of it, and it's actually quite comparable to Kill Team. So they're in return like, oh, we'll do this with Mordheim and stuff. So that's handy. You know, it goes both ways. But the Drukhari stuff, like you've sort of touched on now, I do hope that there's a big range refresh coming, because it feels like for a long time, even normal Eldar, I can't remember what they're ever called, they're just like, they've been left in a nice little corner, and they're like, look, you guys are ancient, you're meant to be ancient, so we'll just leave it be for years.
I mean, they did a great job of refreshing them Eldari aspect warriors for like, and I think some of them were like 20-year-old sculpts or something. It's been a long time coming, and Drukhari's similar.
They've been the same since I was getting into it in like the late 90s. So, you know, that's kind of a shame. But I'd love to see, if the range refresh comes, that they are the main bad guy faction in the box set. I think day one release for 11th, that would be quality.
What I heard was that they were serious contenders, and then I mean, this is all just gossip. But what I heard was that Dark Eldar was serious contenders for the starter box, but they've gone with, I think they're going with Orcs. It's going to be fast. If the rumours are right, it's going to be fast attack Marines, so some kind of new bikes and stuff like that, and then Orcs. But I think, if I'm joining the dots correctly, the fast attack bikes will. I mean, the Marines in the box are always vanilla Marines, right? Because they've got to be able to paint them any colour. They'll be blue on the box, but you've got to be able to paint them any colour. So they'll be your vanilla kind of Codex compliant Marines. But I think it's kind of a soft intro to a reboot of the White Scars. I think the White Scars are going to get some love in 11th, and I think that their Primarch is probably going to come back. Jagatai Khan.
It's funny you touch on that, because that's been one of the things we've discussed before is in the last couple of weeks, Doug, isn't it? Is what Primarch do we think is coming next? Because there's going to be a new one. We've had Fulgrim now pop up. We've got the big 4 bad guy Primarchs, let's say, Sid. Yeah. So they're going to need to put one of the good guy Primarchs back in, and it's Lacan, I think, was one of the obvious choices.
Well, he disappeared into the webway fighting the Dark Eldar, fighting a mysterious Archon who may or may not have been Lady Malice, and obviously she's coming back. So now there's some talk that Asdrubal Vecht is going to come back. I think I mentioned this last time I spoke to you guys, but yeah, so it's kind of leading that way, but also sometimes I have to hold myself back. So I'm like, is it leading that way, or is that just what you want to happen?
Yeah. Would you not think, though, and it's going to be Russ, because with the big release of all the Space Wheel stuff, it makes sense for them to release Russ rather than Cam, because there's no new White Scars models out there.
No, they previewed one new White Scar model in the big preview, the summer preview show, and he was on like a grav bike, and I think that's the direction the bikes might be going in. I think we might be getting grav bikes in the starter set, is my guess. But it didn't. It just seemed a bit incongruous. Like, why are they showing a new, like, well, it's not a new bike, but why are they showing this bike with the White Scar on it? And you might be right, Rust might come back, but it also might be more than one Primarch. You know, we might get 2. But there's a lot of demand for Rust, 100%, and like you said, the range is already there, so it would make sense.
That kind of leads me to Graham's question that Graham put up, painting. What Primarch would you like to see come back, regardless of how they died?
Oh, that's a good question. Sanguinius.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think we're about 10 years away from that happening, but it will eventually happen. And how they square that circle, I've got no idea.
I'll tell you how they do it. I'll tell you, they'll do it like they did Palpatine and fucking Return of Skywalker. Somehow Sanguinius came back.
Somehow Sanguinius returned,
yeah. And that's it. Everybody's like, yeah, that's perfect. That sounds legit. I'm totally on board with that.
I would like to see the Dead Parrot sketch with Russ coming out of the war, Gilliman standing, Russ is just holding him that he wasn't dead, he's just resting, something like that. Bashing him against the counter side. Yeah, he's fine. He was pining for the fjords. Fuck it.
Like Weekend at Bernie's, or just there's two Primarchs just popping him up. The lion and Robert Gilliman. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Waving his arm and that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm alright. Still alive.
Have you obviously with your Warhammer pod, you went through every single Necron unit and the good, the bad, and the ugly about having that particular model. Would you not be interested in doing that with the Drukhari?
Yeah, I would. And we didn't do it in the past because it was during that period when again I was too focused, or we both were too focused on growing the channel. You know, we've got to get the subs in, you've got to get more subs, and there's not that many Drukhari players. Like, we joke about it, you know, like there's about 5 of us. They're a very niche faction because the models are quite old, and they're not the easiest faction to play. They look good, but don't get us wrong, but they're quite difficult. I'm not saying no, they're quite difficult, and I've mastered them. I find them quite difficult still. So I would like to do that, but there's an argument. Maybe it's when I get a hold of the new codex, if that gets my juices flowing, I'll have a look at it. Yeah,
that's the fun of some of those armies, though, isn't it? Is that they challenge you to play them more than they challenge someone to play against, because you've really got to think outside the box. Like I always use the Ultramarines as the best example. You make sure all your characters are clumped together, you steamroll across the board, you have a laugh.
Yeah,
So if there's something for the Drukhari, it's a bit more playing chess versus playing checkers, isn't it?
yes, it definitely is, and it's because they're such squishy elves. So if you fuck up, if you make a mistake with that unit, it's dead. 9 times out of 10, it's dead. Whereas with other stuff, with Space Marines, like you put a unit out there in the wrong place, and you just go Armor of Contempt, or if it's a tank, you put smoke on it or whatever, and you've got a chance of if it doesn't, it's not as bad as mistake. So yeah, it does require that thinking a bit more. I had the pleasure, actually, I played a guy a couple of tournaments ago who played Dark Eldar, and I was like, I really appreciate that game. I lost it, but I was like, now I've got a much better understanding from the other side of the table what I should be doing. And so that, that's a good way to learn, I think, is getting your ass kicked by a better player.
So just to look at back in the chat here, we've had some quite funny comments about Sanguinius coming back. Graham, it was all a dream, Dallas style. 88 minutes. He was nailed to the bar. Yehan, Lord of the Cats, Empress gets up, scratches his butt and says, "You saw nothing." That's fair enough. And then looks at a custodian and says, "No one will believe you." And then probably my favourite comment so far, Sons of Resh, Sanguinius comes back and it turns out to be 3 orcs in a trench coat. Yeah.
Yeah, it could all work. They could all. That's do a looted Primarch for an orc character. There you go.
Yeah. Casey, I fucking forgot what I was going to say now.
Brain farted again. Yeah,
the chat's been on fire tonight, though. I've struggled. Obviously, I can only just see them when they pop on the screen, but there's a lot of familiar faces in there. It's nice to see.
Good. It is good. We've been getting a lot of guys coming back, so that's been quite. We do notice you. We do respect you. We do love you. Thank you.
Loyal following, a deservedly loyal following.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you about the weekend there, because I've spoke to a few folks privately about Rally Point Games. How was the sausage fest that was Rally Point Games weekend?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's the hobby, so it's always going to be a sausage fest to a certain degree. But it was very male dominated for reasons I don't think we need to get into here. But it was the actual game. It was super busy in there because you know me. I do like to have a whinge. I was going to say I'm not going to whinge, but I am. But the staff at Warhammer World are brilliant, and I really like them. The staff at Bugman's are brilliant. But the infrastructure that they have to work with is absolute clown shoes. So we got there and the kitchen was down again, so there's no hot food. So we were all like, right, we better queue up and get a drink and a snack now before all the snacks have gone. Spent 20 minutes in the queue and got to the front of the queue, and then the tills broke because they'd overheated or something because they couldn't cope with the volume of traffic. Ooh. So we had to come back in like a couple of hours. The lassie was like, she came out. I got to the front of the queue and she's like, "I'm really sorry, but I can't serve you. The tills have just broken." I was like, "You're having a day and a half today, aren't you?" But the tables, Warhammer World had double booked some of the tables, so there was issues about where we could play. It doesn't take the shine off the experience because you're kind of used to it, but it's just, this should be like the Disneyland of nerds, for nerds, and it could easily be, they just need to put some money into it and run it right. But other than that, it was interesting. It was we got to play on one of the big tables, and there's like the Titan Club turned up, Titan Owners Club, and some of their Titans are like incredible. There was a guy I was talking to who's converting one into like a giant zinc chicken. So he put like a big chicken head, like turkey head on it. He didn't have the wings done yet, but he drilled the holes in the back where he's going to put these massive wings. It's going to be epic. But they were like, so you imagine normal Warhammer, kind of, what's it called? Is it Dawn of War? I can't remember the one. The one where you deploy on the long board edges, and it's just like you're on that side, your opponent's on that side. And then the Titans were on the short board end, so they're at either end here and here, and they were having their own kind of fight, shooting over the top of us. And if you wanted to shoot the Titans, you could, but they would shoot you back. So there's a lad, I'm following him on Instagram, I only just met him there. He's called Phil Hammer, I think, on Instagram, Phil Hammer 40k, but he's a big Necron player. And he killed a Titan with a Scorpec Lord.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
That's one of those games you love where it's just like, I'm going to do this. Roll
yeah,
nothing but sixes.
yeah, exactly. Someone else had chipped a bunch of wounds off it, and he ran in and did like a bunch of mortal wounds on the charge, and then just hit it and killed it. And I was like, right, okay.
It's kind of like what Skywalker defeating the 8080 with a fucking
Yes,
lightsaber and a grenade.
It's the robot version of it.
it is. But yeah, so there was some nice moments, and the people, you know, I bumped into some people that I've known on here on Insta for a while, but you know, it's nice to meet them in person.
Yeah.
So that side of it was good, yeah. But it was super busy. I think there was about 200 there from Rally Points, and with GW, like as I said, what I'd heard was the tables are double booked and stuff. That were, like, it was really packed in that hall.
Yeah, it's got to be hard because, like, I know that a few people I speak to said that after the event, Simon will organise it. You know, obviously on the day when if you've organised it, you turn up, all this shit happens, it's gonna piss you off. So whatever he said in the past is whatever he said. So still fair play to him for organising something like it and getting everyone together. But when you've done all of that, you've obviously been given certain promises by Warhammer World. Let's face it.
Yeah.
And you rock up on a day and they just say, "Oh yeah, you know what? We fucked this up. We fucked that up." And also, the kitchen's bollocks. So good luck. You know, I appreciate they've still got they'll still have some customers walking in the door who want to make use of the space, but it's just a bit schoolboy, isn't it? It just feels like it's just really silly mistakes to make.
Just don't. That's like I've been there when they've had tournaments there, and when they have a tournament, they still have half the tables free for members of the public. And I think this I said this to Simon. I said I think you really test them to limits, and you know they weren't happy. But you know, as I said, there's a strong argument to say that they just need to be better organised and better funded to make it run right. But you know, in terms of Warhammer World, I'm talking. But yeah, it was. I'm back actually next weekend, and initially they'd said the ovens were out for a couple of days, but we've been told that they're going to be out on Sunday when we're there again. So
Exactly, that's annoying.
Em is asking in the chat, did you get the Necron's cosplayer number?
I wish I did. It was incredible. Like it's absolutely incredible. There was some amazing cosplay there, but not obviously I'm biased because I love Necrons, but the Necron one was absolutely top notch. That was my favourite by a mile.
He was the one that was done up like Trazin, wasn't he?
I think it's Trazin, yeah. It's a beautiful job. There was a little towel suit there as well, and then some of the usual suspects. But it's the cosplay was nice. It helps to make it, you know, a bit special.
I'm going to say this. I've said this elsewhere, but I always feel like when you see people cosplaying Warhammer stuff, cosplay isn't my bag. I'll get that straight away. It's just fancy dress for me. But when you see some of the effort people go to like do stuff like the Guardsmen, Commissars, like the Necron one, they look quality. But sometimes I don't think Space Marines work unless you've got a helmet on. Because it's just, you've got this huge suit of armor which looks quality. I'm not going to take away from it because these guys put loads of effort into it. And then you've just got this tiny little head sticking out from it. You're just like, oh, come on, boys, stick a mask on or something. No one needs to know. But fair play to them for doing it because I don't have the patience, the time, the effort. And I don't think I love it that much to go out and do it. It's not.
I think you've got to have like you've got to be absolutely in love with that specific element of the hobby to do it.
Yeah.
Like some of the work it must take hours and stuff, and they have a whole team of volunteers behind them, like trying to help them get sorted out and shit. But it was impressive. But it was very, very busy. Maybe it's a grumpy old man in me or whatever, but it was. Everybody has a limit where you're just like, this is too much. You know, like now I'm old. I'm like, if I go to a bar where I can't hear myself think of something, I'm like, I'm going somewhere else. It's a bit like that.
Yeah, and bless them as well. Like you see some of the pictures of everyone standing there playing the games, and there's this war cosplay blokes just sort of standing at that back wall where Buckland is, and they're just sort of standing there. This is me for the day. It's like, come on, man, roll some dice. I've get involved.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. And the big team that helped organise it this year, and you could see why. But yeah, I'm not. as much as I enjoyed it, I'm kind of more looking forward to going with my gaming club on Sunday. Granny's Day Out, as the organizer Stephen calls it. And it's just like down at like one of them granny coach trips on the National Express. It'd be like down there one day, in and out, bish bash bosh, and then back. But that should be a bit more chilled. And that's more my. It's just a personal thing, but that's just more my vibe.
Yeah, I get that.
So, just a couple of things in chat here. Graham says, I've got a massive head, get me a suit. Don't you mean you give massive head?
Hey.
And a lot of people saying there's not the correct scaling. I've got a question for you in regards to Necrons, right? See if you could get rid of one Necron unit and then bring one Necron unit back. Still on this for tabletop tactics. What would the Necron unit be that you would get rid of, and what Necron unit would you bring back?
I would get rid of the Convergence of Dominion, which is our fortifications unit, which I think fortifications came in, someone will correct me in the chat, but I think it was around, or they became a bigger thing, certainly around 8th edition. It seemed to be that was when the Necron one came out, if I remember correctly. But it's just these three kind of, they're lovely, these three kind of little sort of obelisks. Well, they're not. They don't really function in game. Fortifications don't work really well in the current rule set. So mine are still. I got mine. Funny enough, I was in like a Secret Santa thing called Ho Ho Hobby Vices. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's a brilliant thing that they do every year. He's had enough though, because there's so many piss takers last year, like people that signed up to get a gift but didn't send a gift or whatever. So it's just going to be invite only this year, and I haven't got mine yet. So I'm like, I didn't take the piss. I definitely sent my present. But so yeah, I'm waiting. But anyway, I got Lady Kane picked me. I don't know if Chloe, and it's a brilliant painter, and that's what she sent me, and I still haven't painted it, bless me, because I was like, I can't use this in the game. So that one would go, and the one I would bring back would be Pariahs. We were a proper old school Necron unit.
That's what Dave also said in the chat as well. Is straight away he's just in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hobby Vices is fucking brilliant. I've been part of it for 3-4 years now.
Nice.
I think if I'm going to do it this year, or if I get invited to do it this year, I think I'll stay in Europe. So I got Australia once. It was a fucking nightmare. But
I'm too tight. I was like, no, I can do UK and Europe, but I'm not shipping to America. I've got 3 kids. I can't be messing about at Christmas time with that kind of nonsense. So fair play to you. But yeah, I think it's fair. It seems to be there's enough of us in the UK for it to work that way, I reckon. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if I'm taking it you haven't been invited yet this year either. So maybe the invites are out.
How's he sending the invites? Because like I don't know.
I'm assuming email. I've no idea.
Right.
Yeah, I've never done it, so I have no clue. Sorry, chaps. I think like you, Dan, just a bit at Christmas. I've got too many people to buy for. No, you're all right. But that's also that, no, my luck, I'd get someone, I'd send them some amazing shit. And as you sort of commented, I would get some utter bollocks back from somebody else. Like, here's a 3D print that's snapped in half, off you go.
The first year I did
Some people go above and beyond. Like I think 2 years ago, somebody got me from America. So a Yank got me, and he sent me the Draenite Combat Patrol, which he bought, and he purchased online in Ireland from Broadsword Wargaming, and then mailed it to me. But he also mailed me from Florida sweeps, some Inquisition units, a scroll, a magnet, and some dice and all that. So like some people go way mental on it as well.
I didn't realise this the first year I did it. I read things quite matter of fact, I suppose, or maybe it's not properly is a better way to say it. But I read it and it's like, right, you've got to send a gift. It's got to be about 35 quid. I think that's the minimum or something. Well, that's what it used to be. And so I got this guy. He's like, I like orcs. I'm looking for these units. And I went, right. And I just went onto Amazon, ordered him an orc truck and sent it to him. And just like, that was it. And then I got my gift and realised that you're going to do all this other stuff. And I was like, fuck, this guy's going to think I'm a right twat. So I had to then make up another box of stuff and send it to him. So he got 2 boxes. But yeah, you live and learn.
That'd be quite funny. What the fuck is this? I sold that on eBay fucking 5 years ago.
I didn't even put a note on or anything. Just sent him a truck from Amazon. He probably didn't even like.
He looked at his door that morning like, who the fuck sent me this? What's this one?
be one of those ones where the missus has been. I know it's a meme, but the missus has always partner been like, don't buy any fucking Warhammer. It's nearly Christmas, and then this turns up from Amazon. It's like,
It wasn't me, I
yeah,
promise. No, I've liked the idea of it, and again, I think it's one of those great things that feeding back to like what we were saying earlier, that as a community, people do really well, and it's a shame that some people do take the piss, but you're always going to get a piss taker somewhere.
I mean, what we were talking about at the beginning there with that whole war boot thing, that has been a brilliant example of the community going, no, we're not interested in people trying to monetize this side of the community side of the hobby. You can piss off. And I think that it's kind of heartwarming in a way, particularly the way it was done is like, there's not really been lots of drama and fighting about it. Everyone just took the piss. Like, it's such a British way of dealing with these things.
Yeah. I think that was it. It was the little bit of outrage that the cease and desists had gone around, and then 20 minutes later, I was trying to copyright shit for fun. So it is definitely it was a tongue-in-cheek way of handling, but a good way of handling it.
Yeah,
I think you'll find that was the same in your Spanish book. Tried to do the whole sponge on a stick. I think even M's tried to taking the piss, putting up Kickstarter stuff and all that sort of shenanigans as well. I think it's just the best way to treat people, isn't it? Really, is just take the piss out of them.
Yeah, and it's the social media is such a good format for doing that. All of those reels of those people with like bits of sponge had me in stitches. That was pretty cool.
Bob Simpson, I wash myself with a rag on a stick. Off you go.
But joking aside, how do you think this is going to affect Seed Studios going forward? Because a couple of their big name artists have came out and put up stories which, if you were James, you would be quite concerned that you're maybe going to lose 2 or 3 like well-named and established artists.
I think there will be more fallout. Absolutely. The guy that produces the podcast for him, George, he put a post on basically saying he was as outraged as the rest of us and he's considering his future or something along those lines. Yeah. And there will be continued fallout from it. I think it's a difficult one. Sea Studios is so big that I think it'll be fine. Ultimately it'll be fine, but I think it will end up probably costing them money in the short to medium term for sure. It's difficult. In any kind of hobby, it's difficult. In any kind of business, it's difficult. It's like that old saying: it takes like 10 years to build your brand, and then 1 minute to lose your reputation, type of thing. But he's got about 3 or 4 different businesses in this kind of space. He's got Stage, he's got the podcast, which does really well. He's got the Stage Studios, which does really well, and then the Stage Scenics, which has also been a success. So. Yep. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna have to sell a kidney or anything in the short term, is he? But he's gonna feel it. He will feel it in his wallet.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's something that he's had the idea of, like, because I think someone else in a group we were a part of started doing a little bit of a company's house search on him just for interest purposes, and found a couple of other things he'd copyrighted, which, again, like I was saying earlier, the Iron Skull thing, there was a lot of copywriting of designs, I think, rather than the actual names. But then when you go in and you copyright a name as a whole, it's just like you're starting to take the piss. And yeah, he'll figure a way out of it. He is a businessman. He's ridden storms, I suppose, before from when we've had him on and he's talked to us, Dunk. So there will be an initial bit of pain, and then he'll get over it and move on to the next thing.
I think so.
And his SS brand continues just like it did for Hitler back in 1939 and 1945.
I mean, we did mention that to him before, so that's fine. We're not taking the piss there. We brought it up, so because it's us. We're not gonna say something.
I'd forgotten about that. That was quite funny. He took it quite well.
That went down like the Titanic and its resubmersible fucking 100 years later.
Yes. Well, when do we ever shy away from the difficult questions?
Oh, fucking here. This is what we're fucking all about. Like, it's just a bit of fun, not taking life too seriously, and just poking fun at each other, even poking fun at ourselves. Like, that's.
Yeah, definitely.
You definitely can't take yourselves. Yeah, I think that's a very important thing about. There's definitely people in that camp who I would perceive as take themselves too seriously, who were at who were at that Rally Point event. But you know, different people like different people. There's probably loads of people there that thought I was an arsehole as well, so, or an a-hole, sorry. So, you know.
It's actually funny you sort of brought up how seriously some people take it versus how unserious people take it. I popped in to get my mini of the month on Saturday, and my store got a new manager in, so he's quite particular on, come on, you got to build them in store, you can't just take them away. Luckily, I turned up at a bit of time where he was quite busy, so me and the lad were like, just cut it into the box, we will fuck off. But I'm sitting there, and my little lad's trying to figure out what it is. It's the first time he's ever seen a rattling, and he's like, "Who's this guy then, Dad?" So I told him, "Oh, he's just a little dude who's a good cook, and he steals things, and he has a good time." And he's 6 years old. He's sitting there giggling away like, he steals things. And then the guy who's also doing a mini, I'm sitting next to him, is like, "Well, really, the rattlings are an abhuman group, the finders." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, bro, he's 6, leave him alone." He doesn't need to know the law. He's a little dude. He's a garden gnome that steals shit. That's just leave it with that.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. It's, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You get a lot of, our hobby definitely attracts a lot of people on the spectrum in various degrees. And
I think everybody who does the hobby is on the spectrum. Not brings people from everybody in fucking Warhammer is in the spectrum. No matter where they are, they're in the spectrum.
We're blessed by it. We're not cursed or touched by it. We're blessed by it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like you say, Dan. It is, some people will always take it seriously, and others will just have that bit of fun.
For all you have to do to annoy people and see how triggered they get is just mention female custodies or female space marines, and people lose their shit.
Yeah, you just say that. That's actually interesting. We haven't brought that up. All this beef about the new heads, the new Space Marine heads, and everyone's going insane. Like, that one looks like a woman. Does it? Okay.
I'm not. There's 3 of them in particular, but it's just there's a sect or subsect of people on who you know, I'm going to call them grifters, but they're professional, or you could say, if you're being charitable, you could say they're like semi-professional at being outraged. Like, they're looking for things to get annoyed about, and as soon as these came out, there was, you know, the usual suspects were at it. And I've had a look at them, and I don't know if you guys, like, I literally got blown the pictures up and had a good look at these. And I'm like, I just don't see it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see it.
No, I think there's been a little bit of, maybe they've been painted in a certain way, but also a lot of different people are built differently. Like, you know, if I had a big old muscly head, I'd look ridiculous. And that's the thing with these things. Like, yeah, as Ronan was saying in the chat, you know, they're obviously looking at different cultures and different hereditary lines and be like, let's make this one resemble the Mongolians, for example, with the white stars. You know, perfect example. You know, and I think it's just maybe that's being blown out of proportion. That it's just a case of someone's misread something and, oh no, and off you go.
That's what occurred to me was that a lot of the turnaround time for the heavy metal studio is really tight, so that they'll get these things done. They've got to get them done, and I mean, they're beautiful, by the way. Every single head on there is like outstanding, but they've got to paint them very, very quickly. So if there's nobody there to give you the cultural reference points, or you miss them, you can paint a head that is designated to look like something in a completely different way, and then it looks like something else. And maybe that's what's happened.
Yeah.
I think they do. I think a couple of them do look like females.
Aye.
But to just bring it on to M's point, which I'm going to throw to Dan in a minute, it looks like all of them are either holding in a poo or doing poos.
Yes.
Well, but to M's point, who we might have a wee role for in the Inquisition, which we might be announcing later on this week, she would like to get Dan's opinion on how I managed to get away with shitting behind the signs in Spain.
Sitting behind the signs in Spain. I must have missed this one.
Well, there was a few various Alcudia signs, and I was doing tactical poos, like the army. There we go. Another one for your bindle cards, people. Were taking when I was doing a wee tactical poo behind the signs, and they'll never know it was me. But yeah, But
Uh,
I think a few of them do look like females, but they all look as though they're trying to hold in a fart or they're trying to push out a poo.
It's funny you say that because I started pulling together some ideas for a little video on it. It's like a short reel, and that was exactly what I was doing. Was like, this one looks like she's holding in a poo, or they're holding a poo. This one looks like they thought they were going to fart, but they've actually followed through. And they all look like that. They've all got those kind of poo faces, 100%.
This one stepped on a Lego piece, you know, it's
Yeah,
those little pictures.
yeah,
You know, it's, but when you think about Space Marine heads, they all look bloody ridiculous anyway. They always have done, and they always will do, and just get over it. They just more ridiculous looking shite.
I like the variation in that box. Like you've got some old beakies in there, some of the paintbrush plume helmets,
Yeah.
and even some of the faces have got the augmetics in. Like you've got, like the bionic eyes and shit going on. So I do appreciate all that, but I'm not a good enough painter to paint faces. If you give me an option to put a helmet on there, the helmet's going on.
Yep, agree. And again, Necron's a beautiful effect. Just brilliant silver they're done.
Yeah, yeah.
And can I just say, sorry to interrupt here, it's just before the name disappears. I have to give hats off to Drew Carey. What a name. That is,
Oh yeah.
what a username that is. That is the best username I've seen on here in a long time.
I think
But
I gave them
also,
a follow just based on that. Yeah, but they're
oh,
good painter.
definitely. Yeah, they're definitely getting a follow. But also, why is nobody listening to plot with fucking Yehan and his Lord of fucking Cats and his cat heads on Space Marines? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I love it.
That
Space
is fucking,
Marines.
yeah. Nobody bats an eyelid when some crazy guy with a cat helmet puts cats on heads. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. There's it's almost like there's an agenda, isn't there?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there's that dog crew coming back to try and get rid of all the cats. That's what it is. Hashtag dog gang for life.
Imagine if they ever did, like there's been a lot of talk about them, the Henry Cavill TV show, and loads of people. I made a reel about it the other day, and loads of people I was saying I don't think it's going to be the Heresy. And I'm like, no, I want it to be the Heresy. But imagine if they did the Heresy as an animation, but it's like that movie, like Cats and Dogs. So you just got cats on the chaos side and dogs as the loyalists. I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh, Yehan would just be jizzing everywhere.
Yes.
So what they need
Can
to
I,
do is something daft like that. That is just take a little bit of tongue-in-cheek action every now and again, and just take the piss.
Yeah. There is. They've been so super. I mean, you say that they're super serious for the headline stuff is all super serious, and then they'll do things like the rattlings, and that's the kind of 40k that we all knew and loved when we were kids, isn't it?
Yeah. And what was the rattling one? He's offering them the sausage.
Yeah,
That's
it's perfect. It's such a good mini.
It's bloody brilliant. We'll go off topic for a little bit, off the way from the Warhammer and all of that sort of crap for a little bit of time. Obviously, as we sort of done commented earlier, Premier League fans spend a lot of money. Newcastle started the season. How are you feeling?
Oh well, I'm fairly sanguine about it. So we had a roller coaster transfer window where we lost our top draw striker right at the end, and then we scrambled around to get two in. And then the one that was meant to start while the young lad bedded in is injured, and it doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. But then the young lad's turned out to actually be really good, and he's banged in like 4 goals in 5 starts or something. So it's just classic Newcastle. It's like you're either elated or depressed or angry, and then you're back to being happy again. It's football, isn't it? So in terms of the season start, like we've not been great, but I'm happy to, I'm happy to wait because I think the second half of the season is going to be good.
Graham demands his money back for ESAT.
You can get fucked, you scouse bastards.
right, Casey was messaging me off chat here, and I told him I promised him that I wouldn't mention what happened at the weekend.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about losing your unbeaten run to Newcastle, Casey?
Well, it wasn't to Newcastle, it was to Everton. How do I feel about we all saw that coming. Every Palace fan worth their salt saw that coming because we ain't been Everton at Liverpool, old ground or new now, because you have to consider the new ground, since 2014. So 11 years we ain't got a proper result there. So
you don't like coming north.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They've just literally moved to that stadium, so it's not as if you're playing in the old fucking ground. You're fucking knob end.
I just needed to get it in there because we haven't. Yeah, that's what it is. We had to get it in there because you say we don't like coming north. We always blag a result against Liverpool, and we've done all right against United and City here and there for recent years. But you look at those teams and you'd think Palace won't do well against City or Liverpool, and then we somehow blag a result. Then we go to Everton and get turned over, or go to Newcastle and they spank us 5-0. So it's those sort of weird games. I think. We turn up for the big names, we shy away from the little ones, which we've always done. But I don't think we've done all right. Too bad. We've been playing like shit. We've been blagging results. We won 2 trophies along the way. So.
And you're sitting with third or fourth, seventh in the week?
5th or 6th now, I think. I haven't looked at it properly since the weekend. But the last time we had a good run of games like this was in 2015 when Alan Pardew was manager. We got to the FA Cup at the end of that run, but we didn't get a decent result from December till like April, and it was shit. And I'm kind of hoping we don't go we hope we don't go the same way. And yes, Graham, I was being sly with that because I've obviously got the Sunderland in-laws, so I've got to plug them a little bit.
We're just pretending they don't exist at the moment. They're still above us. Only just, but they're still above us in the table. So yeah,
that's mental that they've come up and just gone for it.
Do you fear that your manager might be poached behind you because he's using Amiram system so well?
When Isaac left, there was a lot of Newcastle fans were really outraged and like want to build a team around him. And I've seen too much football. Like I expected, I've been expecting him to go for about a year because he was too good for us. And there's a couple of other players that are probably going to go because they're too good for us. Like we've got a midfielder called Tonali who could play for anybody in the world, like anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Eddie Howe is an elite level coach, and at some point he'll move on. So I am worried because change of manager is like serious. You've got to get it right, but it will happen eventually. It'll either we'll get so good that he'll stay and win everything with us, or he'll move on to one of the big clubs. Like if I was a Man City or something, I'd be looking at him to like if Guardiola can't have that much longer left at City, he looks like he's bored as fuck. So you'd be looking at an Eddie Howe if you've got any sense.
It's mad considering like Eddie Howe, like as a manager. I remember when he was with Bournemouth, like Bournemouth was spending. He obviously had a bit of spending power, so he was all right. But he's moved to Newcastle, been told, all right, although we've got all this excess money, you can't really spend too much of it, which is a madness in itself. FFP, what can you do? But I'd say there's times definitely that he's pulling miracles out of the bag. Like, like some of the results you've been getting into the Champions League against the bigger teams, going as far as you did, and I still don't get the guy, but Jason Tyndall standing next to him looking like the smuggest fucker in the world with his fake tan and huge grin. But he has done well for you, and if a bigger club does come in, they're going to have to pry him out of your hands with a bit of money, aren't they? They can't just.
I think but he's good enough.
This is a question to both of you. Do you see him as a future England manager?
I would say I think he will be, but I'm not sure it would be ideal for him because I think he is the kind of manager that puts the hours in. He works very quickly. Like he's developed all of our players. Even the ones that came that were really good have become great, and the ones that were rubbish have become good. Like he turned Dan Burn down. Not that Dan Burn was rubbish, but he was a limited footballer, and he turned him into an England player. Jacob Murphy was a limited footballer, and he racked up the assists last season. So, but you can't do that if you only see the players like 4 times a year or whatever it is on an international basis. But I think he would take the job, and I think he will be offered it at some point. But I'm not sure whether he's the right manager for it.
I don't think he is. I think we've seen this time and time again. There's certain managers that are suited for international football, and there's certain that are suited for club, and sometimes they can't make that change. Like I think Southgate, when you look at when Southgate was at Middlesbrough for however long he was never the greatest of managers. But then when you moved him into the England setup and he was in the youth for so long before going into the first team, that, you know, that's how we managed to get as good as we were, because this guy has been working with all these kids for so long.
Yeah,
I think that potentially what we would need is someone to do the same thing, go in at youth level, get a core of youth players, keep building and building and building. And then by the time those youth players turn to first team players and some of the top better clubs, that's when you make that manager take the step up. I don't think you can pull a club manager into international football. Like a Mourinho wouldn't work. Wenger wouldn't work. Klopp.
No. There's some, like you said, the more, not that Eddie Howe isn't tactical, but the ones that are more focused on that side of the game, like Carlo Ancelotti, like we being all, you know, and he's done it for, he's the kind of manager who can be good at international level. But yeah, we'll see. It's a weird position to be in where you've got like more money than Games Workshop, but you can't spend it.
Personally,
well, I wish, yeah. No, Newcastle United, yeah. So, you know, we are on paper like the richest club in the world. You know, we're backed by the PIF and they've got hundreds of billions of pounds, but we can't spend it. So
you know what's mad as well, that you've just mentioned them. And this is something M put on her Instagram the other day, and I think Scott Ryan mentioned it as well. That PIF bought The Sims from EA.
Yeah,
billions. The Sims, for God's sake, that is insane. Like, of all the computer games you can go out and buy, like, let's buy The Sims. You know,
it's got such a loyal.
The Sims is timeless though, because people will still play it. That's the thing. Like, it's like Football Manager. Like, people will always play Football Manager. I've not played. The last time I played Football Manager was in April when I got sacked with Mallorca. But we won't go into that because that was a quite horrific time in my life, managerial wise. But people always play The Sims. Like my daughter still play The Sims. It's one of those timeless games.
It's got a loyal following, but there's a lot of people twitchy about it. It's the same as anything else, you know, when a big corporation comes in, which will happen. I mean, Games Workshop is a big corporation, but I still maintain they've officially said they ain't for sale, but they are. They will sell to the right buyer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, hey, there we go. Wanker. That, you are right, because like any business can say they're not for sale, but then someone just walks in with a wad and cash and be like, okay, come on then. Because even I could see something like that happening to Games Workshop at some point. Like, we all saw the stats, we all saw they're bigger than the fishing industry in a minute. So all it would take is a mega corporation like Amazon to just stomp in and be like, all of this shit's now ours. We own you. Here's your shares that we bought. Let's go. Just do some damage. Graham, we're all up for sale, mate. Like, me and don't joke about it. If a company was to walk in tomorrow to us and be like, "Hey, we're sponsoring you now. Promote our range of landmines," we'd be like, "Cool, yeah, send us some. Let's test them out." Yeah, but I think that's just life generally, isn't it?
It is to a certain degree. I mean, I'm a stubborn man, and also, you know, like I said, I've got, out of the blue, like, I've made quite a few videos lately critical of Games Workshop, and out of the blue, I got an email from the official Warhammer merchandise studio this week saying, "We love your content and we'd like to offer you an affiliate link." I was like, I nearly emailed them back saying, "Have you watched these videos?" But I was like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll take it. If somebody wants to buy something, buy Warhammer merch using my link, that'd be awesome. I'll take it, because it's. But I wouldn't. Certainly not at the moment. But I wouldn't take a sponsorship from C Studios, for example. Right now.
Graham, I don't know where landmines came from. It was just, I was thinking of the Last One Laughing when Bob Mortimer said his mum sold swords. I think that's what it was.
I think you've got the best sponsor already anyway in Orange Brushes, haven't you?
Have we mentioned Rita Duncan? I came a bit late. I don't know if you mentioned it.
We haven't mentioned them yet.
Oh, well, then our guest got the spot in. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sponsored by Orange Brushes. Go to orangebrushes.com, use code Inquisition, all caps, 10% off all your brush needs. Pow. There we go. Thank you. Because I did sit there at some point and think, it's not going to do a promo. Should I do one? But there we go. So thank you, Dan. Hey.
I love doing the segue for Orange Brushes. That's why I come on.
That's the only reason why you come on. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not for us. It's just for the segue.
I think
This isn't even real. Like this is me trying to get sponsorship from them. Like this is not even real. I have to glue it on before I come on here.
Is it one of those Hey You Jimmy hats you buy in Edinburgh
Yeah.
or tourists and you've just cut it up?
I need one of those because they've got the hair on them. I could definitely do with that.
Aye, could do that with some of that myself. And the thing is, Ames fucking says 3 of my favourite followed by challenged brothers, and I'm like, but Page isn't bald. Who's
No.
he talking about?
No, he's got the Action Man haircut going on there. Look at that.
Yeah, I did have a trim the other day. It was starting to look a bit shabby, but I do have a tiny little bit at the back here. It's not a proper bald spot, and it's like I've got this weird triple crown thing that my hair just grows in all that different ways. And then I saw my dad this weekend, and he bent down for something. I looked at the back of his head and was like, "It's your fault. You've got one as well." But his is thinning out, and I'm sort of looking at it like, I don't want to go fucking bald yet. But if I did, I would just take it all off. Fuck it. If I'm going to do it, own it. And I think that's why you've got to do it.
Yeah.
The missus started talking to me.
It.
Aye, same here. The missus started talking to me this week about just for men, for the beard. She's like, have you considered maybe dyeing your beard? I was like, well, I hadn't until you mentioned it.
That's a cold statement to just randomly come out with as well.
When you've been together for a long time, there's no preamble anymore, is there? They just come out with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight in, no kissing. That's really how it goes.
My missus today decided to rejig the kitchen because we got a new table turn up, and she just decided, right, I'm changing my layout. I was like, oh, okay. I came back downstairs, we've done it, and it's like, all right. And now I've just got to put up with it.
Yeah.
But we love them, and we put up with random shit.
Ronan's saying it'd be more distinguished if I let the beard go natural. My father-in-law had a big ginger beard, and his went white, and then he just got like people shouting "Santa" in the street and shit. So he was like, "No, not doing this. I'm not ready to be Santa yet."
At least we didn't get Gandalf, but I do notice that's the north of the country. Their filter for certain stuff that the South don't have is quite an Irish thing, because I always like you can walk up in the street in the north, and if someone doesn't like something, like, "You're wearing them fucking shoes for, you mad bastard." You're like, "Oh, yeah, all right, sorry." But there was a story I remember reading of like people just saying a random shit they'd been told on the street, and this Irish woman saying that she wore a beret in Cork or somewhere. She's walking down the street, and someone just looked away and went, "Oh, fucking bonjour, madam," and just walked off on her. But there is that little bit of lack of filter I think the North have, which I think the South definitely need to just relax a little bit with, because we're overly serious down here, and if you say anything wrong, someone's like, "You what, blood? I'll wet you in it." So,
I can't stand the Scouse accent, right? It's one of the worst accents ever on the planet, right? Fucking can't stand it, right? But when I was on holiday last week, I was lying poolside, and there was a couple of Scouse people, and I was like, fucking hate that accent, especially in girls. It's the worst accent in girls ever. And then a couple of Dublin people started speaking pure, thick Dublin accents, and I was like, wait a minute. Is a Dublin accent just the English version of a fucking Scouse accent?
Yeah.
Oh, I was fucking fuming. I fucking now hate the Dublin accent more than I hate the Scouse accent. And what accent came first, the Dublin accent or the Scouse accent? Oh, I can't stand them.
all those Irish immigrants into Liverpool. That's what it was. Yeah.
But then there was also
into Dublin.
But then you say that, Dunk, like my dad's family are from your side of the world in Ireland, a little bit further south, and you listen to them sometimes, you're like, what? Who was the man in Father Ted that had the I Shot JR t-shirt on? They all sound like him. And you're just like, what the fuck? Okay. They can say something to me, and I'm just like, yes. And then you think, what have I just said yes to? And then 10 plates appear in front of you, like, oh, bollocks.
There's worse things that could appear in front of you, though, you know.
Yeah,
especially in
yeah.
Ireland, it could be a priest with his cock out. Do you know what I mean?
My dad did say yes to his uncle once for that sort of thing, and we ended up chasing sheep around in a field for an hour. And I was like, "What have you? Why did you say yes to this?" But he was a farmer. We didn't just go to a random field and start chasing sheep. I do have to put that disclaimer on there. But yeah, it's a strange thing.
Oh,
Bloody.
you said he was a farmer. Did you ever see him farm, or did you see him chasing sheep about?
Sounds like a
That's
sheep
all.
wrestler to me, like, yeah.
Um,
It was in the middle of the night, and we had to put them all in this little van and then nick off. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about it.
You know what? I will tell this story. It's one of the two stories about him. The first one was we got a tour of the fields of what this guy owned. And I say field, it was all peat bog. You were drowning in this stuff as you're walking around. It was fucking horrific. And him and his son found a ram skull. And this thing was like, it looked like it might have been a piece of Warhammer terrain. It was that perfect. Like not an inch of flesh or meat on this thing. It looked like someone could have dry brushed it. And they're standing there for 20 minutes arguing whether it was theirs or the blokes down the road.
Brilliant.
And it's like, how well do you know your flock that you can tell who owns it by a skull with nothing on it? Like, it was insane. And then 20 minutes later, we're carrying on walking. This is the second part of the story. And there was this beautiful waterfall on his land. Like, you just came up on it, middle of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, this is the waterfall. And you're like, what? And it's like some local relic stone on it, which is meant to be like the handprint of St. Patrick or some box. I don't know. No, my dad's uncle, he probably just took a hammer to a rock and was like, oh yeah, that's St. Patrick did that. But this waterfall must have been like 20, 30 foot up. And he had this sheepdog, and the sheepdog's got the arse because there's sheep down there. He needs to rustle up and can't get down this fucking thing. There's like the escarpment for people was like that. So the dog wasn't going down it. So my dad's uncle has just picked this fucking dog up and just hoyed it straight into the plash pool. And
Brilliant.
it's I didn't do it. Disclaimer: I do not endorse throwing animals off things.
You're going to be doing those apology videos tomorrow now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, this is one of those things. Influencer endorses throwing dogs off mountains.
When did you become wait a minute? When did you become an influencer?
As soon as I got sponsored by Orange Brushes.
Yeah. There we go.
When you do your first apology video, that's when you're an influencer.
I would do it. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, he just hoyed this dog, and it was like, the fuck are you doing, you mad old bastard? But yeah, he was a proper farmer. I promise you, he wasn't just a cattle rustler.
Ronan says the guy in Father Ted was called Tom. I think that's right, isn't it, Tom?
Tom. Yes. Yeah. Yes, because wasn't it one of the first episodes where he pulls up, he finds Father Ted walking, he's like, jump in the van, Father, and then he goes, robs the post office.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
It was a wicked character. But yeah, they all spoke like it.
So when you're going to Warhammer World this weekend, Tom?
Sunday, yeah, for the granny trip. Steve, thank you for organising it, Stephen. Stephen's organised that as a bunch of us driving down and just for the day, have a roll some dice, have a bite to eat in Budman's if there's anything to eat. Yeah. And I didn't when I was down last week, but I want to have a look at the museum because they change it up every so often. So I haven't been this year at all, so I'd like to go and have a look at that as well. Is the museum the right word? You know what I mean, though, don't you?
Yeah, I think one of the exhibitions was closing when I went in start September. They were saying one's going to close down. I don't know if they've reopened it yet.
Right.
But I think they were just rejigging some of the stuff around here like they do, don't they? They stick a new display in, take one out, keep it a little bit real. But
keep it fresh. And there's people like they have some of the smaller ones, smaller glass cabinets have got like good painters. They just say, "Oh, we like your stuff. Can we put it in there for 3 months, whatever?" Which is brilliant as well. I mean, I'm never going to have anything in there, but it's good to see people get recognised. You know,
I've had stuff in there. I don't
no way, man.
It was part of Dave Hammond's charity album.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like a complete fraud saying I've gone and done that, but I'll stick it on my CV.
I'd have a fucking T-shirt if I'd done that.
But yeah, you are right. It is nice that they do recognise some of the people that come in and some of the stuff they see. I think that's quality. I know there's another guy on here, Requiem 82, who does all the Dark Angels stuff. He had something stuff displayed, didn't he? So it's nice they give back every once in a while in the strange little ways they do.
Yeah, they're not all bad. Let's be honest. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother. But yeah, we'll see. But it's nice. Yeah, that's Sunday's trip sorted out, and then after that, I think I'm back in end of November, and then that's it. Like I didn't go for years. Went once or twice last year, and then I'm going 3 times in like 8 weeks or something.
How long did it take you to get down from Newcastle?
On the way down, this time it was during that storm, so it was like 5 hours, but it should be about 3.
Bloody hell.
So the way back was about 3. I went down with a really cool guy, actually. If you can get him on, he doesn't like doing podcasts, but you can get him on, he'd be awesome, because he's an awesome person. But he's called Red Eagle Studio on Instagram. He's a full-time commission painter. Paints, his specialty is painting armies, and he does it incredibly quickly to incredibly good standard. Like he's cracked the formula. But he's a really, really cool guy. It was one of those ones where he was kind of out on a limb, because he's like, "Oh, I'm going down. Do you want a lift?" And I'm like, "Yeah." We'd never met each other, so I'm thinking, well, he's taking a risk on me because I'm going to be in the car with him for 3.5 hours, and vice versa. But we just got on, and just like the journey down was 5 hours, it felt like half an hour. It's one of those where you're just going, and just chatted all the way down. So yeah, he's a lovely bloke.
That's good.
But is he a groovy person? That's the main question.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he's definitely. We were joking on the way back, actually, because you mentioned the I word there, influencer, and he was like, I don't like that term. And he's like, no, I think influencers are wankers. He says, I thought you were going to be an influencer, but you're not. I was like, no. So let's go. Pass the wanker test. At least with him, anyway. So yeah, I don't know about groovy, but definitely not an influencer. So I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm not. I think Cattle Rabbit Rob, who does a lot of videos on here, helps me out with bits. He said it best: if you consider me an influencer and I've influenced you in any way, you've made a bad life change somewhere in the world.
Yeah, go and have a word with yourself. Yeah,
I will definitely agree with that, because if I've influenced you into doing anything, fuck on off. What's Graham saying? Some guys last weekend ordered food just from
Just Eat. Yeah. So there was some kids there, and I walked in at one point to go to get a cup of tea, and there was kids in there eating pizza. So I grabbed the dad. I'm like, this is probably a stupid question, but are you allowed to do this? And he's like, well, I just said to them, like, I'm not letting the kids starve all day, so I'm going to get some pizza, and you can like it or lump it. So they were in Bugman's eating the pizza, and then those who were a little bit more like rules abiding were in the car park, in trying to dodge the rain, eating burgers and shit. It was mental. But I can't imagine they're going to allow us to bring food in this weekend. It's a big no.
Just have a packed lunch in the car and stand by, just in case.
I'm not. I don't. I get very, very hungry after about 2 or 3 hours. I'll definitely be taking something.
Yeah, look like a man like myself that would get hungry after not fueling for 2 or 3 hours.
Oh yeah, 100%. And both my boys are the same. Like they're 26 and 17 now, and they eat about 8 square meals a day. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's got to be crazy though, like you say, and to come back to it, that you've got that many people there and you can't cater them. How much out of pocket how they would be for that? Because they must have been looking at it thinking, this is an earner. And then for the kitchen to go, they'd be like,
oh God, yeah, they could have sold as much food as they could have made on Saturday, and it's been off for a few weeks, I think. But I went the last time I was there before this. They ran out of beer at about 2:30 or something like that, 2:00, like on a Friday. Sorry, that was. It wasn't even a Saturday, and they ran out of beer, and they were like, again, there's something fundamentally going wrong if you haven't got enough beer at Warhammer World. Like it's just, I don't know what it is. But yeah, they need to sort their shit out.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it, a little bit, that, how much attention do they properly pay to stuff? And, is it just something like a little third-party group doing it for them or anything? But
I don't know. I think there is like a head of Bugman's, and I don't think they're, like I said, all of the staff that I've ever met there have been awesome. There's even like there's a lady who's in like the head of exhibits in Warhammer World, and she's class. But it's just Games Workshop has got this thing which some public listed companies do, where they're like, "Oh, we're keeping a tight control on wage spend and that." They don't. They could easily employ 10 more people in the design studio. They could easily invest a bit more in Warhammer World and to make sure to get Bugman's sorted out. It's easily done. They just choose not to. I mean, how do you run a magazine like White Dwarf without an editor? They made the editor. They didn't fire him for doing a bad job. They made that role redundant. So legally, they can't just appoint another one. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to. But that's that's another example.
Yeah, it's funny.
Do you think that's people that don't know the hobby but think they know business, though? Or is it just people that are in the hobby but think they can run a business as well?
No, I think they've always exploited the workforce for a long time, and they've exploited the fact that people love the hobby and want to be involved in it. But it is. I've worked for a couple of companies. I worked for one that became the biggest company on the AIM market. It's like the junior market in the UK. Yeah. And it's just something that investors have focus on, and if you start worrying too much about what the investors think, you become focused on that stuff. It's just part of that corporate culture at that level, and it shouldn't be, But I mean, obviously, you can't spend all the money. But if GW hiring some extra people or fixing some problems at Bugman's is not going to break the bank, the profits will not be dented. It's as you said, if you imagine the amount it would cost to sort the kitchen out in Bugman's, right, is probably less than they would have made in a day. Yeah, on that or that weekend, because it was so busy. So it's not. It's return on investment type thing. What do they call it? Saving pennies and missing on the pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's something I know. Like companies I've worked for have done the same thing, where they just sort of sit there and think, it's all we were talking about earlier. That it's sort of silly business speak, innit? We need to be agile in this. So what we'll do is we won't employ 5 people here because that'll make us everything's more streamlined and all this shit. But yeah, it is stupid because it could be a little gold mine for them.
I think there's power problems there as well. Like the last couple of times I went down, they had generators out the back of some of the offices. I don't know if you've ever been there, but like when you come into Warhammer World, the actual Games Workshop office is kind of on your right, and at the back of that was a bunch of generators there. And this time we were there, they'd kind of they put up some of that temporary fencing and blocked it all off, so you couldn't see what they're doing in there. But there's been rumours for a long time that there's lack of electricity capacity on that site. So I don't know if that's still an issue.
It's the middle of an industrial estate, isn't it? You'd think they'd have some cables going in there or not, but that's...
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Yeah, I will. I'm not going to bore you senseless with it now, but I ended up having to do some work in that sphere, and a lot of those industrial estates were not built for the amount of power requirements that we've got now.
That makes sense.
Other than that, Warhammer World is it's good. Getting to play on one of the theme tables is a joy. It's partly why we do this shit, isn't it?
They're nice to even just go and look at.
They really are.
And if they had any sense, as Graham says, there'd be a virtual reality experience in a theme park in there.
Graham needs to be put in charge of Warhammer World immediately. If it was me, I'd have one. I think I've said this before on one of my podcasts, if not on this one. But I think just move it somewhere else. That site is an industrial estate, and they could just use that space as an extra factory or something. Just go somewhere where you're not landlocked, and build something proper. Put a fucking hotel next to it. Do the full works. And you could have. Make it such a better experience. I think
they could basically make it like the Legoland.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then Merlin would get their claws into it, and you'd have day passes and all of that. I don't want Merlin touching that because they ruin everything.
Even just
that sort of scheme, though, that sort of idea where they just buy a shitload of land and just do their own thing.
Well, the Rhino.
Disney, they shout it. Sorry.
I was going to say the Rhino was, up until a few years ago, the Rhino was a drivable vehicle. Like it's built on a British APC. And,
it's a 432 tank.
Yes, a 432, yeah. So they could just do, you could have a little circuit there where you could all jump in the back and get driven around in the Rhino. There's loads of stuff we could do.
I've seen recently tank paintballing. So if you had like a couple of like mocked up predators all just driving around, some with spikes, some without, you're just shooting giant paint shells at each other, that'd be immense.
Yes, now you're talking. That would be epic.
Yeah.
But that tank paintballing looked insane. Like you need to go with 5 mates for just one vehicle, and even then there's someone in the back telling you what to do. But you properly load the shells and breach and all of the madness on it. And
you do the full works, do you?
Yeah. One dry. It's proper like Fury with paint. It just looks insane.
Games Workshop's version would just be like bumper cars with a paintball gun strapped on the front, like just glue gunned on the front there. That would be it.
Yeah, Takashi, the end of Takashi's castle.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the Emerald Guard to ruin your day. Now, fuck off. You spent all the money.
Did anyone ever win Takeshi's Castle?
I've never seen it.
The legend is someone did once, but I've never seen it.
No.
Apparently, like if you Google it, apparently everyone says there's been at least one winner, but maybe that's what they should do. Maybe it's just a giant Warhammer Takeshi's Castle, where like one of the things is you've got orcs chasing you, and if you fall in the pond, you're out. Or it's like a maze. You've got loads of chaos demons in a maze. Oh, you're trapped in the warp. Find your way through the space hole. And then you're kicked out into a pond or something mad.
Open the door and it's Fulgrim there behind. Yeah.
Mate, that's I have talked too long. This is now what happens. I come up with mad shit ideas.
I'm writing all these down. I think they're a great idea. There's so much more that you could do with Warhammer World, though. It could be a real thing in its own right. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think they've been in that Lenton site for nearly 40 years now, haven't they? They've been there donkeys. So it's just a case of will they move when they move. And I think once they run out of production space in there, that's when they'll move. They like to just keep everything tight, don't they?
Yeah, they've got. Sorry, go on, Don.
It's a hobby that doesn't look to be slowing down any.
100%. They've got big plans for expansion in America, which I think is still tied to. My pet theory is that Amazon did look at buying them when they had this big discussion, and Amazon came up with a list of things that the GW needed to do before it was going to come back. I think one of them, obviously, is let's see what the appetite really is through this TV show. But another one was that open more stores in America, because all of a sudden they've decided to open a lot of stores in America. And the American market is big. And it's the biggest single market now, biggest single buyer of Warhammer, and there's so much more to go at in America for them. So the only thing that's going to slow it down is like a global recession. You know, if the wheels fall off the economy, then they might have a couple of bad years, but even then it'll be a dip and then back up again.
Yeah, and they've weathered the storm how many times and just come out shining the other side of it.
Yeah.
So, and then once they conquer America, it's just going to be Asia next.
Yeah,
I mean, you could really see that. And then you could really see Warhammer tournaments, like a World Cup of Warhammer happening. I could see that.
Yeah, officially.
They have a world teams championship. I think. I don't know if they have a full-on world champions championship, but yeah, there will. There's definitely room for that kind of stuff. A proper World Cup would be lush.
But me personally, I don't think the TV show is going to happen because Henry Cavill's got too much going on. I don't think it's going to happen. Because he's got that many projects going on.
Yeah, he was because he's a busy boy, but I think I would like to think it will do. I think these things usually, like from announcement to getting on a screen, they can take 3, 4, 5 years, can't they? So it could be a while yet. I think it was last Christmas, wasn't it, that they announced it was at 24. So we're only coming up to that was when they confirmed it. So we're a long way off.
I thought it was 23 that was mentioned. I thought it was longer than that.
23. They announced 23 was when they announced they were doing a year of discussions with Amazon to try and figure out a way forward. And then last year, that was in December 23. December 24 was when they said we've signed a deal. And yeah, I think that's right.
I mean, it depends what writers that they have. Are they going to be Warhammer people, or are they going to go down the Disney route where they just ignore everybody who's got anything to do with the hobby and just do their own thing? What's the special effects going to be like? Because we all know Warhammer can bash out an amazing video CGI video with some of the stuff that they've done. So how's it going to then transgress on a live action?
Well, I tell you what, give it some credit. Like, look at what that was it Secret Level? I keep getting the name wrong. The Amazon thing that they did.
Secret
Oh
Level,
yeah.
Yeah, I know it was only a short, and that's technically you can look at it and that could have easily gone on Warhammer Plus, but I think that was very well handled and very well done. So you got to give them, you got to tip your cap to them a little bit with that. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I dip back and watch that every now and again because I think it's quality.
It is
But
Yeah, but that wasn't live action though, was it? That was all
no,
CGI.
yeah. So you know, I mean, that's one thing, isn't it? And but from like the right perspective, like you're saying with the writers particularly, I think it was very well written for what it was. It gave you a proper taste of here's these huge bastards. This is the shit they do.
Yeah.
And you know, if you didn't know anything about the character of Titus, it gave you a proper nice little introduction to him of, oh, he's actually a bad motherfucker. Off you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, if they can capture that sort of same essence of it without, like you say, going a little bit of a Disney route and just thinking, right, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and that's what we'll make our plot out of.
It'll be
you know,
I'm relatively confident because that was what that year preamble year was for. I think that was Amazon saying, "Can we do this?" And JW is like, "No, you can't." And there's, "What about this?" And they go, "All right, then you can do that, but only if you do it this way," and so on. And I think that was like a year of kind of hammering out the parameters of what law changes they could make or what law they had to work within. And I would like to think Cavill's a big reader, and I would like to think that it would be that there will be people involved who have written some of those great stories already for the Black Library. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. And the reality is, like, it's very difficult trying to bring something that's that loved, like people are so passionate about it. It's very difficult to bring that to a screen without upsetting some of those people. Someone's going to be upset. So you know. But I would like to think it's still going to get made. I think there's a big opportunity for everybody there to make a shitload of money, and that's usually a sign that these things will happen.
Yeah, I think Graham touches on it there. You know, it comes with years of material to build your universe from, and unlike comics, it's all from one single world. They've not ever gone away and done like a Marvel have done of saying, well, this is universe this is universe that, and you know, this universe this works and that doesn't. And I know, like you say though, like the reaction to it's going to be the important things. The Alien Earth series, I don't know if you watched it, but
no, not yet, no.
Okay, but the start of that were, you know, I think actually the Alien franchise as a whole, when you think about it, you know, it's well known, it's well loved, and when someone tinkers and changes something, like I suppose the film Prometheus, sort of,
yes,
it's the best example I can give you if you haven't seen Alien Earth, where you know you got different things popping up and everyone's like, "What the fuck is this thing?" To this day, the one with the shark head, I don't know why, but it was there. And then Alien Caesarean. Cool. But that's the thing, like when you get writers are just like a random idea, let's chuck this in and see this works. Or if I liken sometimes the Han Solo standalone film from Star Wars to just being a sci-fi script that had been kicking around for donkeys, and they're like, well, let's just slap Han Solo on it and make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hopefully we don't get that sort of treatment.
Yeah, I think that with the Solo story, I think it confused people when Darth Maul turned up at the end, because if you don't know the lore, then it was a bit bamboozling. Like, thought he was cut in half, but obviously Clone Wars made him survive. But just to say what Commissar Molotov said, I thought Alien Earth was brilliant. I really enjoyed that.
Get watching it if you haven't, because it is good.
Yeah. It's on the list. I just haven't got to it yet, but I definitely want to. But I appreciate the heads up. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, like, and again, as soon as you said you didn't watch that, I was like, "Shut up, then." Prometheus, yes.
I'm always like about 6 months or 3 months behind the telly. Like, we only just finished watching season 2 of Andor a couple of weeks ago. I'm just slow to get. Yeah. So I have to like not follow any of these accounts on social media or anything like that, because you just end up getting spoilers because I'm so slow. I'm months behind you guys.
See, the only thing with Andor that annoyed me, and I think the way they could have ended it perfectly was if the very last scene that you see in Evander was him meeting your man at the start of Rogue One.
Yeah, yeah,
For me, that's how I thought it should have finished. I understand how they finished it the way they did, but I think to get a full circle, I think because you had then just went and started watching Rogue One.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I think
yeah.
that would have been a perfect. I mean, I know you might maybe conflict of schedules or stuff like that, but I'm probably sure that there's probably archive footage of them
Just
meeting
cut it
up.
from the film. Just cut it from the
Yeah,
film, be like, bang. But I loved Andor. I thought it was brilliant.
Top seven.
Again, it's another example, like you're saying, of people who know what they're doing and doing it the right way, as opposed to other series that we've had out of them where it's just like we don't quite know what we're doing. We know what we want to do, but we don't know how we're going to get there. And it's that middle bit where you lose people.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes you need writers that for any beloved franchise that's really beloved by its fans, which is basically any sci-fi franchise. You have to have people who are in the writing room who know what the fuck they're on about. Like they have to be embedded in it. You can't wing it and just put something into that universe because the fans can tell. So yeah, we'll see what they come up with. But it wouldn't be the first time they tried to do a TV show in the mid 2000s, and that just got lost in development hell. A Warhammer TV show and never made it out. But this one, again, maybe it's just me wishing really hard because I want it to happen, but I hope it does.
Maybe
one
what
of
we
my
need to
favorite.
do is go back and do the final Liberation cutscenes and just make that a series. Just get all the old computer games that they used to make, like the old
Yeah,
Command and Conquer rip-offs, and just cut
yeah.
all the screens together for that and say, right, that's your series, off you go.
Dawn of War would be one of that again. That would I would watch the shit out of that as well. Absolutely.
One of my favourite stories about Star Wars and people that know Star Wars being involved in Star Wars was a Sam Witwer story who does the voice of Palpatine and he also does the voice of Darth Maul. He was also in like Dexter and Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
When he was doing the first season of Clone Wars, I think it was, there was a thing that was to do with Darth Maul. And he was like, to Filoni, no, that's not going to work. And he's like, why? He says, because he didn't know about this person at this point. And then Filoni had to go back and check and went, oh my God, that is the guy that we need for, because he knew, because he is such a Star Wars fan himself,
Yeah.
that
And we saw
he kind of brought.
that with The Witcher, didn't we? With Cavill, like the story goes, he's like bringing the book on set, and he's going like, "Oh no, it needs to go this way," and the writers ignored him, and so he's a massive 40K nerd. So I think we're in good hands.
I think we are.
Yeah.
And
there's plenty that can still go wrong.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like if you've got people who care about it making it, you're never going to go wrong. And there's definitely good examples of not just, I'd say, sci-fi franchises, but TV shows in general where that's worked. And I suppose you look at some TV shows that have been on for years and years, people care about it, so they'd always find a way of making it work. And fingers crossed, that's what happens. But we just have to wait and see, don't we?
Yeah. So this is gonna be my last question to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could be any character apart from Big E or a Primarch in the Warhammer universe, who would it be and why?
If I could what, have them in a TV show?
No, be any character.
If I could be them,
Yeah.
well, that's a great question. Somebody who likes collecting stuff and is sarcastic and have an inflated opinion of himself. It's Trazyn again, isn't it? It's going to be Trazyn again. Yeah, I think Trazyn is definitely part of his personality. Is definitely like poking a little bit of fun at hobbyists and collectors, but he also looks like he has the absolute best time, and he basically gets to do what he wants. So yeah, I think so. I think he's the only other one I wouldn't like to be him because he's a horrible bastard. But one of the most interesting characters in there for me is Fabius Bile. I think I mentioned him last time, but he is like he's literally like the definition of mad scientist. He's cooking up like He's making copies of Primarchs. He's cooking up his own mutant races. He's sorting out shit for crazy shit for all the Chaos Space Marine legions and stuff. He's a really interesting guy, but you wouldn't want to be him, I don't think. I think if we're going to be someone, live forever and have an amazing collection of all the stuff I think is cool. It's Trazyn, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
It's a fair point, and I think that has to be the best answer you can get, because when you think about any other character, it's just like, ugh. There's always a tinge of like, to them. So, what's more fun than someone who is, like you say, taking a piss out of the hobby itself as they are being written in lore?
Yeah,
it's the perfect choice. It's the perfect character.
Anything else from you, Casey? I think probably best time to wrap it up there, guys.
I was going to say, like, I haven't got anything else. Like, I will say once again, Dan, thank you for stepping in, jumping in for us tonight. It's appreciated. We do love you. We always will give you a boss. And you are one of the friends of the show. So it is always nice to touch base with you and connect with you.
I love it. I watch it whenever I can. I think it's one. Like I've always said this to you off screen, so I can say it on screen. But use is one of my favourite things on the internet. I love it. So it's always a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much.
It's always nice to get that feedback, and it's always also handy to send you every now and again the dumb shit I see online. I know you'll appreciate it. So.
It's fun. Yeah, we definitely. It's one of that's how I know you are some of the good guys, because you send me some really funny shit on the internet as well.
Right, cool. Guys, I think that's us for this week. I can't remember the guest that we have next week, but it's somebody who will be verified with our new verification person. And we make sure we don't have any fucking nonsense on. Folks, give Warhammer Pod a definite fucking follow. His podcast on YouTube is fucking really good. Like, I've watched all his videos. If you're a Necron player or you want to know how to play against Necrons, like, his deep dive into every character and every model is fucking brilliant. And give him a follow. And also his other Instagram page, Big Jobber, as well, for his insurance scam videos.
Love bringing that one up.
is also good.
Every time.
Anybody want to give a shout out to Dan before we go?
No, just thanks for having us on. And the only person I wanted to quickly shout out again was Red Eagle Studio. Not that he needs the work, because the guys he was telling me he's fully booked, can't take any more bookings. But he's definitely somebody, I think, if you like painting, that you should follow him on Instagram, because his painting is lush.
I will definitely give him a bash. Folks, see you again next week, and thanks for joining us, folks. Love you all. Cheery bye.
See you later, guys.
Cheerio.